Well, seems like it's tier list time. The last time I did a tier list was, oh shoot, 2 months ago. We don't do just a standard tier list. I will give you the most accurate tier list possible. The current day, 9th of August, and we do things a little bit differently. So first of all, I changed the tier list. We do not have S tier, A tier, B tier. I have the tier list in numerical order, 100 being the highest and 60 right now being the lowest. Might add something below if I feel it is necessary. I feel with this game, a numerical tier list does make way more sense and you have a way better feeling about characters in general. And to top it off, yes, I also will include Ascensions with this tier list because I feel like this makes it even more accurate and to see where every character is on the tier list depending on their Ascensions. And for the Ascensions, to make it simple, we have the A0, how good are the characters out of the box, A1, which is for most character their key ability, A3 for another key ability, and A5 for the full power of the character. Now maybe some of you might be asking, oh, but A10 is the full power of a character. Yeah, but it's just extra stats, who cares? Full power is A5, nothing higher than that. A2 and A4 I did not include because A4 99.9% of the time is just like a small attack, like damage increase, it doesn't matter too much. And for some characters it is A2 and for some characters it is A3 where they get an additional key ability which makes a bigger impact to their kit. Okay, so here we are with the ranking of Alicia and I give you my explanation and thought process on why I rank her the way, obviously. Now, out of the box, Alicia is very powerful unit. The only real water DPS besides Seo. Seo fell off a little bit, but to Seo we can come a little bit later. But in general, if you have Alicia out of the box at A0, she's a very good unit, but I feel like at A0 she's quite lacking. She misses a lot of her buffs, which she needs to become very, very powerful and threatening. And for her A1 version, it is kind of similar. She still stays in the 85 category because at A1 she, yes, becomes stronger. She gets 20% more crit rate and 20% more crit damage because with her frost shield, with her QTE, she gets these additional stats, which makes her a little bit powerful. Does it change her on the tier list? Not really that much, but where it changes a lot is with her A3 or A2 to be more specifically, because with the A2 ability on her, she's now getting 2 frost stacks instead of just 1 frost stacks. So this helps her out to use her core attack to get the full power of her core attack more frequently, because you need 3 stacks to get 180% bonus damage for that one. And the A3 is when from time to time you might freeze an opponent with the tornado, then you can make use of her frost extra damage with that, but still she is not in her best condition. Now with A5 everything changes with her completely. Now with A5 she's just simply the best unit in the entire game. It's not even a question. Her core attack does 50% more damage, and now she also has the ability to freeze with her core attack. This just makes her completely busted. There is no other unit in the entire game that offers what Alicia offers. She has the fastest burst DPS in the entire game. Not even Char. Mirei can also not compete with that. When I talk about burst is the time when you use the QTE, tag her in, use her tornado 2 times core attack. Just that happens in like less than 2 seconds. Casting the tornado, casting the core attack 2 times, less than 2 seconds. And that damage you can dish out in that short amount of time is incredibly high. Incredibly high. And you can also extend that with her ult, if her ult is ready, to get all the stacks back so you can core attack twice again. So this makes her the strongest burst damage unit in the entire game. plus the fact that she's not only dealing exceptionally crazy damage, but she's also very good with crowd control, and she has CC. No other DPS we have, so the comparison would be with Chant Mirei, because those two units don't even have a CC. With Alicia, it's a completely different ball, and you can just completely burst them down and the enemies cannot do anything. And if they do not even have like a frost resistance for some bosses, they will never move. They will just simply never move, and that's for that. So that's why Alicia at A5 100, and she will also be, spoiler alert, the only unit at 100 in this tier list. Also guys, this tier list is based on overall usage and how versatile these characters are in the current meta game, and where they may, and that's just a maybe because I don't know where I end up with it right now, might end up in the future, but it is more of the current overall game. Now next up we have Min. Min is an exceptionally good support unit. He's very good out of the box, so that's why he's at 85, but he starts being even better at Ascension 1, where he buffs the entire team with crit rate and crit damage. And he is one of these characters you can just throw him on any team in any content and it works perfectly fine. So this guy just works everywhere, and he's a lot more future-proof than, for example, a Fisher, which I will do next. His A3 doesn't change much for him. Like, the biggest impact for him is his A1 and his A5. A3 just adds a little bit of healing, but it doesn't really do much. And A5 is then the next big impact, because at A5, this dude also increases the ult damage by 50%, which is insane. That's why when you have him at A5, 95, and A1, A3 is 90. Like, very powerful support unit. You simply cannot go wrong with Min. He just offers way too much to the entire party, no matter the content. You can never go wrong with this guy. He's just too good, and especially doesn't matter if you're on white CP or red CP. He always brings something to the table, which just makes your overall performance better. Now let's talk about Fisher. So Fisher straight out of the box at A0. I think she is not as good as the other characters, and in general Fisher's design in general is just to make Alicia shine as much as possible. Even though she has some utility, she's still right in the middle at Ascension 0, because at Ascension 0 she, even for Workshop of Brilliant Light, which is important, she provides you with that shield removal against Vulcan, which is important. That's why even at A0 she is fairly capable, and as well as her support skill for Jinwoo is good, with the damage decrease, damage taken decrease, and as well the 60% attack buff. Where she comes a little bit more potent is when she is going to be at A1, because with A1 this is actually something which boosts her a lot. And actually, let me put it, let me change that. So A1 is actually here, 90 at 90, because she boosts the core attack by 64%. And to top it off, she grants super armor to your character with the highest total attack. Plus, as well, she takes 64% of the damage your DPS would take to herself. And also with her weapon, stuff like that, to further increase damage. Very good unit. A1 makes a huge difference. That's why she's jumping, just with that one ascension, she's jumping 2 ranks, makes her very powerful. And with A1, she's actually also usable as a support for different hunters outside of Alicia, even though she focuses on water and core damage. Then we have at A3, she has like that little bit of power gauge, which helps out a bit. It doesn't change much of her kit, so that's why she's still in the same spot more or less. But at A5 she also jumps up a tier in my opinion, because with her ult skill, which she can use quite often, and she also helps the party with reducing the ult timer, she doubles the damage, she doubles the crit rate, she doubles the attack, she doubles the core, she doubles the damage taken, increase buff for your entire party, helps out your team. And right now for Mirei, she's the best support till Han is released, obviously. but she's not as versatile and good as Min. If you compare these two in a vacuum, side by side, Min offers more burst in a shorter period of time than Fisher. Obviously for Alicia, it is a different story. And the reason why I don't rank Fisher higher than Min is because Fisher was specifically designed for Alicia. Now, Min is more of a general support character. Doesn't matter the content, doesn't matter what comes in the future, he's very, very future-proof. With Fisher, there's a different story. When Alicia gets replaced by something else and drops in the tier list, that will automatically make Fisher drop in the tier list as well. The only time where I don't see Fisher dropping is when that new water DPS, which should basically power creep Alicia, has a core attack mechanic as well, where she basically can shine with her entire kit. Then she will stick there, but if that new water DPS requires a new water support unit, that will make Fisher drop in the tier list as well. Now, Seo is, without any ascensions, fairly mid, and her Ascension 1 doesn't really change much for her. Yes, it does increase her damage output for her 2 skills, but her damage is not even the greatest anymore. Sometimes she does quite good damage, sometimes it's like whatever. But these 2 Ascensions don't really change too much for her. She's still more or less the same unit. Her purpose is to break. Now, where things change is when she's at A3, because at A3, she can manage her mana a lot better, and with her A2 she also has a higher break effectiveness, so this just improves her role as a breaker a lot more. And her A5 doesn't really change much. It really doesn't do much. I do believe that her A5 is still bugged, because most of the time it doesn't crit like everything else crits, but her A5 for some reason does not want to crit at all. It feels like it's still not working as intended. But yeah, in general, what's her saving grace is the Burning Greed set, to be honest, because she can spam her skills quite a lot. So she has, besides her break capabilities and that bit of damage she's dealing, she does provide Alicia with the support, with the Burning Greed set, because you just spam her skills a lot because it's fairly easy with her, and then just give, basically through the Greed set, get additional crit rate and crit damage to Alicia. Okay, next up we have everyone's favorite boy, Jinchul. He got decent buffs now with the last patch, but in my opinion, this might be a hot take. Let me know in the comments down below what your opinion is after you listen to my opinion. I feel like people are overhyping him. You know, like people are right now shitting on Baek, the Lightbreaker, because like, oh yeah, he's not that great, and he does, yeah, he's shit. And he gets compared to the other 2 Lightbreakers, and that's why he's like very, very bad. But you know what? And with Jinchul, people are saying, yeah, Jinchul, he's the best windbreaker in the entire game. But I mean, if your competition is only one lousy SR character which no one ever uses, then obviously he is the best windbreaker in the entire game. The thing with him is, and that's my firm belief, as soon as we get a new windbreaker in the game as a raid up, Jinchul will disappear. Like gameplay wise, he's probably top tier. Like gameplay wise, fun to play, 100%. He would be, I would rank him as one of the most fun characters to play. But the thing with Jinchul in general is, from a general perspective, is his lack of damage. You can give him crazy relics and stuff like that, artifacts, but you will see, you will barely, if you're lucky, hit for 1,000,000 damage sometimes with his ult or something. His damage is just subpar, and his entire role is just breaking the break bar, and then you never touch him again. That's why Jinchul, like almost bottom tier for me at a 0.65, because at a 0 you can only use his mediation of power once, nothing else. And he has weak breaks. He's breaking too slow. Like his whole break mechanic at A0 is way too slow. That's why he's ranked super low. At A1 he gets a lot better, that's why he's at 75, because at A1 you can use his mediation of power now 3 times, which helps a lot more. He gets more versatile starting with A3, where with his dashes he can recover his core attack, his mediation of power, and then he can just basically with his dashes recover his skills a lot faster, so you can break the enemies faster. But as soon as the enemies are broken, no one will use him anymore after that. After that, his role is completed. The only time where you want to bring Jinchul back into the battle is either if there's a recoverable break gauge, or for example if you use Hanzemai together with Mirei and you use a Sylph set on Hanzemai, you want to put in Wu into the battle so you can use the QTE skill of Han to get the 3 stacks of the Sylph faster. But besides that, there's literally no reason to ever put Wu Jinchul into the battle back again once the enemies are broken. And that's why I also believe it's copium to rank him anywhere higher than that. Yes, he got a lot better, but still his role is the same. He's a windbreaker, and outside of windbreaking, there's nothing else. Some of you might say, yeah, but he can also like with his weapon now boost the damage of Mirei. Seo can do something similar with her abilities. On top of that, she has way better survivability she offers to her water team. Plus, she does way more damage than him. Now, let's talk about Mirei. So with Mirei, she is also fairly okay-ish, I would say, out of the box at a 0. She's like at 80, like right in the middle. Like she's good, but she's nothing too crazy. Where she really starts to being good is when she gets at A1. That makes her a lot better, because then she gets additional crit rate and crit damage. And also while she's in possessed mode, she gets additional attack and crit rate, which easily puts her almost to 100% crit rate fairly easily, makes her more potent, makes her skills more deadly. But really starting with her Ascension 3 is where things really change for her. At A3, she then fixes her mana problem she has, so she can recover her mana and her power gauge, so she gets her ultimate skill faster back, so she can transfer into the possessed mode. And also while spamming her basic attacks, she shortens the cooldown of her skills, and her skills have fairly long cooldowns. They have like 14 seconds cooldowns, like compared to the other hunters they are really long. But at A3, every time you slash with your basic skills, these cooldowns will be cut by 2 seconds, and there's no cooldown. You can fairly easily spam her skills a lot more once she reaches A3. And at A3, like in a comparison with Alicia, in my opinion, Mirei is better. And at A5, she's at 95. Very strong, because then her skill 1 and skill 2 get a lot more damaging. And also, I don't know what it is with her skills, because she has that skill 1 and that skill 2. They do have the same multiplier, but for some reason her skill 1, even though if you level them up to the same level with skill 2, her skill 1 does way more damage than skill 2. Maybe because skill 1 has more multi-hits, but yeah, that's besides the point. But still, even from a 5 perspective, the reason why she does not get into the 100 and she's low is because she has basically the same role as Alicia, but Alicia does it even better just because she has CC. And also her support is not in the game right now, and even though I still think Han will help her out a lot, I think still that does not put her into the 100 category. She will still be here at 95 right there, just because she does not have the CC capabilities. Plus, her support skill for Jinwoo also does not provide anything but damage. The damage is good, but I feel like this will be also get buffed in the future. Trust me, I think her support skill will get some sort of effect outside of damage, but yeah, that's where she belongs. Okay, so let's talk about Silver. Doesn't matter what ascension, this guy was never good. His damage is subpar, his bleeding doesn't work, and let's be honest, this dude's movement speed is atrocious. Like, he runs with 0.5% speed. Like, he gets outmoved by everything in the entire game. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, at least double his speed or something, even though then no one will use him, but it just doesn't make sense. This guy is so bad. And like, you know what? If he If Fisher wasn't in the game, I would rank him higher, like in 70. Like, doesn't matter the Ascension, even Ascension 0, just because of the 20% attack increase with him. But you know what? Fisher has 16% attack increase. There's no reason to use this guy. So that's why bottom tier, legitimately, like bad. Like I could make an extra category for him, just bad, never touch it. Now when it comes to Hwang Dongsoo is also fairly bottom just because of the release of Mirei, but I feel like still he's slightly better than an A0 Jinchul, and he's definitely better than Silver because he also provides some utility with his support skill, because there are actually two uses for this guy. So first of all, he has the shield removal, same as Fisher. So if for some reason you are one of the unlucky ones who do not have Fisher, you could theoretically use Hwang Dongsoo as a shield removal for Vulcan. But besides that, there's also one more use, nobody actually thinks about it, and it does have some utility for Jinwoo. For skill, the ability to stun targets for literally 4 seconds. He has by far the longest stun in the game with these 4 seconds, which is a lot, especially when you combine it with a Westwind build for Jinwoo. So basically what you can do is when you broke a target, you go in with a Shadow Step, do 1 dash, charge up your Westwind, and while you're charging a Westwind, because there is like a lot of time that needs to be passed, so you deal your damage, then you have to dash it again and then fully charge it up. You can, in that situation, while you're charging the first time, you can cast Hwang Dongsoo, stun the target for literally 4 seconds, which gives you more than enough time to get your damage out, get another dash, fully charge up your Westwind, and even then you still have enough time to dash one more time in case you have a full ult bar to ult with Jinwoo on top of that. And that's also fairly powerful when you trying to fight enemies who have maybe multiple phases, so you can ignore those phases and brute force your way to maybe kill those, because Hwang Dongsoo actually gives you that extra time, which other characters do not give you. So especially with a Westwind build, you might want to consider using Hwang Dongsoo as a support character just because of that 4-second stun. Okay, next up we have Choi. Choi, in my opinion, is a character which needs heavy investment in general. At A0, he does not provide you anything. He's even worse than Silver. A1 is where he gets a little bit better, but doesn't change much. At A3, he gets better. I know he got buffed, but I feel like starting with A5, he gets like a little bit better, and he gets out of the 60-65 mark because there's a little bit of saving grace for him with his defense shred. But like, I don't see him anything better, because the reason is he's basically in the same spot as Silver. He's completely lackluster, and the only thing he has is maybe his defense shred, and for Silver it's similar with his attack buff. There's nothing really much. Like, this could entirely change, obviously, when that marble decides to buff Choi and give him crit damage. I think if the multipliers are good for him when he gets crit damage, he could potentially just straight up jump to 95. Like, he could be one of the best units in the entire game if they give him crit damage. But the problem is he cannot crit, and because of that, he is just there. There's no reason to use him. There are other options. Even if it is a fire dungeon, you're still going to use Alicia. You're still going to use, I don't know, Mirei, for example, or you're going to use Seo. You will always use something else, and especially with Yoo Soohyun also in the mix, this guy has no, like, legit, there's no reason to use this unit. Like, he's one of the worst units right now in the entire game, and unless they give him crit damage, which could boost him to be one of the best in the entire games, but based on that, yeah, I cannot rank him higher than that. That's why he's this low. And now we talk about Yoo Soohyun, the reason why Choi is completely irrelevant. Yoo Soohyun is a character which got introduced as the new fire DPS unit in the game. She has a lot of range. They buffed her also recently, gave her Hellfire super armor, which is good. I would still rank her mid-tier more or less, A0. She's like a unit which, like most of the units, needs A1. Starting with A1, she gets a lot better because then she has access to her Hellfire with her core attack. Her A3 doesn't change much about her. It just makes her slightly better by increasing her attack. But at A5 is where she gets most out of her damage because his trick shot and her Hellfire deal a lot more damage when she's there, because of once the enemies get 20 stacks, they will receive way more damage. And the powerful ability about Yoo Soohyun, why she is at the 90, there's a couple of reasons why she's not 85 and why she's not 95. So the ability for her to always have elemental advantage is very powerful. She's very good in Power of Destruction right now. I always use her there because of her range and everything, and because she always have elemental advantage. She's also very good in Battlefield of Trials. But the problem with her is, and where she is lacking, is her skill animations. She takes way too much time. Her setup takes way too much time. You have to use skill 1, skill 2, then core attack, and then skill 2 again. And only during the last instance you are actually getting super armor. Still, the targeting is a little bit iffy with her. She can miss quite often. And then the next part about her is I also used her in like story mode, for example. If there are like a lot of enemies you have to fight, she struggles a lot. Like if you get caught off guard by the enemies and they just circle you around, it's super hard to make use of Yoo Soohyun to get any sort of damage out of her, because she takes too much time, and you're getting a lot of these monsters will attack you, and she is not tanky. She's fairly squishy. So, and with this new mode, she dies super fast. So she needs breathing room, and if she does not have breathing room, she does not shine at all. But her saving grace is that she has that elemental advantage no matter what. That's why she is at the very bottom of 90, like she barely made it over the 85 mark. So next up we have Bora. With Bora at Ascension 0 and 1, you could argue that she belongs a little bit lower, but still her main ability, her charm, is still active at a 0, which allows you to basically ignore break bars, which is fairly powerful. Like she has that one unique ability, and she does so much, especially if you get later on her weapon as well. You can use her basically in any content. Like her support skill does so much for her. Casting her circle, increasing dark damage further, having her minions, and that's what makes her slightly better at A1, because you can then cast 3 foxes instead of 2. She is as good as Min. The problem is she does not have any unique buffs in general. But at A3 she becomes a little bit more potent, because then you can cast her circle twice, which allows her to keep up the circles for her minions as well. So you activate the circle, cast the minions, then you can activate the circle again, and the circle does actually quite some damage. Keep this rotation up. You always have these support damage rolls. She is good. The reason why I rank her so highly is because she is so versatile with content. You can use her when you go to story mode, when you go to Power of Destruction. No matter where you use Jinwoo, you could theoretically use her to just apply that 15% damage taken, same as Min. Min still has the advantage over her. That's why he's ranked higher on the list, is because at A1 he gives crit rate and crit damage, what Bora does not offer. Nonetheless, this is where she gets a lot better. Her I5 doesn't change much. It just boosts her ultimate skill damage. It's like whatever, to be honest. But overall, a very solid and versatile unit in most of the content and literally almost everywhere. And you're good to go. And especially in modes where we need more teams to come in the future, this will make her even more potent. And right now, the best dark unit we have in the game right now. Now starting with Lim, he is the one of 2 dark breakers we have available in the game right now, but he has also some decent damage. I feel like his usage is fairly limited when he is at A0 and A1. He gets a little bit of boost, but it doesn't really change much for his gameplay. Where things changes for him is starting with his Ascension 3, because with Ascension 3 he gets more buffs going for him, and it also increases the damage for his ultimate skill. His A5 that makes him stronger for sure, but it really doesn't change much for him. His best use right now is still most likely Power of Destruction when there is a dark rotation. Besides that, it's probably Battlefield of Times. Like if you watched my Battlefield of Time video, this is stuff where you're going to use him. But Battlefield of Time is always a hit or miss. Like with Battlefield of Time, almost every character could be usable depending on how many ascensions you really have. I think I'm also fairly generous with rating him at 85 just because he has the range. He has the break. When he's in ult mode, he actually does some decent damage. That's why he is here in the middle. Now, next up, we have Baek. So Baek, doesn't matter the ascension, I will always rank him here at 65. The problem with Baek right now, he's just too slow for what he does. With Go coming with the next patch and him being probably a light breaker, that just makes him completely irrelevant. I don't even agree with the argument his saving grace is his defense break, because you know what? There is one other unit I do want to rank here in this tier list besides Baek, and that is Kimchul, and only specifically A5 Kimchul. Like I could even rank him even higher because there's like Seo, but he's lacking. Yeah, you know what? No. He's here. He's right here. He's right here with Jinchul. People say, yeah, he has that defense shred, the defense break, but you know what? Kimchul has a 2 at A5, and he does not need to use 3 skills, combine them, have to hit every last hit till you finally get that 20% death break for like 15 seconds. With him, you just shield jump, boom, nothing else, takes you a little less than a second. His skill animations are fast, and you already have a 60% defense break. To top it off, he has crazy break mechanics. That's his big heavy break, which like reduces half the break bar from opponents, maybe even more. While he's doing that, he also stuns the enemies for like 2-3 seconds around that, and then you follow up with the shield jump, boom boom, and the bar is broken. You have the shield break, and then you can swap the rotation and then get your min and chan or whatever you want to use. That's why Kimchul is ranked in the same sphere as Jinchul, because he has that defense break. Now you can argue if he's like below Jinchul or if he's above Jinchul. Like I don't make a difference really. Like Jinchul has that wind support and he has a defense shred. I feel like they're the exact same in my opinion. The one guy fulfills the light role, the other guy fulfills the wind role, but he's a crazy breaker. And this is why, going back to Baek, he has literally no purpose and his ascension do not change much for him. Like literally do not change much. Just if you have A5 Kimchul, just use him. You're better off with Kimchul, seriously. Right at the light elements, next up we have Cha. Cha is our first banner with the global launch. She is fairly decent out of the box. That's why she's ranked at the 85, right in the middle. Highly up there at a 0. Slightly worse than Yoo Soohyun, or Yoo Soohyun in general is a lot better in that area. But Cha really starts shining once she gets more dupes. Like when she's A1, she jumps in the rankings up there, because with A1 she now can stack up her dancer 5 times and she gets super armor. By the way, I made the adjustment. She's top here at 85 for me at least. Very powerful advancement for her, very well needed for her as well. And getting more stacks with the dance ability means also getting more damage out of her ultimate skill. With her A3, she also gets even stronger, because then she can, when there's then a branded debuff, that allows her dancer skill to deal a lot of damage, which is why, like, it's actually quite a lot what she can outdish with the dancer, because the dancer, you can just keep spam. Not only her ultimate skill, but her basic skill also provides some damage. And when she's at A5, she catapults herself at the top of the 90 ranking. She is still the potentially, in a time frame of 10 seconds, probably the highest damage dealing unit in the game if you compare those 3 units, Alicia, Mirei, and Cha. Alicia does the most damage within like the first 2.5-3 seconds. Then followed up by Mirei within the first 3-4 seconds. But within the first 10 seconds, what can be dished out in 10 seconds? It is Cha, because she spams the dancer, which she has a lot of time doing so. Once she's done, you do the core attack, then do the ult, which does the absolute most damage, and then follow out with the sword of light, and then tag her out. So in this specific window, within 3 seconds, Alicia does most damage. And within 4 seconds, Mirei still does more damage than Cha. When it comes to the 5 to 10 second mark, this is where Cha does the most damage. Compared like even more than Alicia and Mirei. But still, that does not change the fact that these have more utility. Mirei with her ability to just stick on the battlefield. With Cha, you have to use a one-hit kill set. Mirei can stick on the battlefield, especially with Han, so she can just keep spamming, keep spamming, keep spamming. And Alicia just has the CC and also similar damage output. That's why A5 Cha is right here. Now next up we have Emma. Like with Emma, it's quite hard to rank her. She's just one of the most balanced unit in the entire game, in my opinion. No matter what ascension she's at, she's good. She's good at A0, she's good at A1, A3, A5. No matter what, A5 she's her most powerful because of the reset, which is very, very strong. I would argue to make this change right here. There's nothing really to say about Emma. Does so much for everything. You can use, she was queen in Battlefield time, not really that much anymore because they changed it slightly. But to be honest, the only reason why Emma is actually so high up on the tier list in general is her burn up skill. That huge AoE, that's literally the only reason why she's one of the top tier units in the entire game. If she did not have that AoE, she would be like down here somewhere, you know. She would be right in the middle of the other breakers. Right in the middle of the other breakers if she did not have that AoE. But because she has that AoE, this makes her very, very strong. You can use her in so many different ways, in so many different contents. With the new anchors, instance dungeons, there are so many options for her, really. There are so many options. Amazing unit, and they keep buffing her, keep making her better. And I don't see a change for the fire team anytime soon, because Emma is also in a very, very safe spot as a firebreaker. Like the other spots are more iffy with the damage. Like if they decide to give Choi crit damage, that probably makes him better than Yoo Soohyun. Then also there needs to be a fire support first. So Emma is a future-proof unit, and that's why she belongs here. Last but not least, we have Nam. Nam, in my opinion, is around here like any other breakers. That doesn't change much for her. She's like in the same time. It doesn't matter where I put her really in. She's around here. I just want to put her to the other breakers. She is, in my opinion, at A5 better than a A1 CO because she has more break mechanics and she can break faster. But as soon as you start getting A3 where you can actually manage your mana a lot better and with her damage output, he is a better choice than Nam. Because our resources are so limited, I feel like even if you only have an A0 or A1 CO, which you all should have, by the way, because with the 50 days lock-in, we got 1 CO, everybody got 1 CO for free with her signature weapon too. There's no reason for you to actually necessarily use Nam outside of very situational cases. But if you are someone who just started out and maybe missed that 50 days lock-in and didn't get a free CO, Nam is also a great option. And yeah, that is the entire tier list. Ranked all the SSR hunters and 2 SR hunters, which are, in my opinion, worth putting on the tier list. The rest of the SR hunters, in my opinion, do not belong in here. Yes, not even Park Jin. Nope. I don't see her. But yeah, this is the final list. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts about it? It took a lot of time to set this up, to prepare this. And I also think it's cool to have this list set up with having all these ascensions ranked properly in a list with a more flexible tier list, I would say. Nonetheless, guys, that's it. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you liked and enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. And see you with the next one. Deuces.